Hey guys, welcome to another episode here with Queen City Reefs and more. Today is a special day. Today we are at Jeff Ash's house. I just want to say, first thank you for having us and letting me bring my equipment and, film your tanks. You do have beautiful tanks. We're about to show them here. Talk to us about each of these tanks, what you have going on. We'll start with this one here and let us know exactly what you've got, because I do notice that one of your main filtration systems is at Seachem, and a lot of people are always talking about sumps or whether you can do it with a sump. I don't know if you have a sump on this one or not.
No sump on this tank.
So I know that a lot of people will always recommend sumps or recommend something that you can put a skimmer or all these different devices to make a reef tank work, but here you're proving that that's not the case, right? So
right.
Talk to us a little bit about it.
Okay, well this is a 90-gallon tank. It has been running for a total of about 3 years. I just did a reboot on it about 4 months ago.
Okay.
So basically this tank is 4 months old. I did a lot of experimentation with this tank as far as filtration systems, different types of nutrient control systems. I have brought this tank up and taken it down so many times over a 3-year period. It's been an experimental basis.
Got it.
At this point, I'm running 2 filtration systems. I run a hang on the back Seachem Tidal.
One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, love that. Primarily, that's for skimming purposes, for aeration. I run if I'm running carbon or any type phosphate media or anything, I use that as the mechanism for handling that media. Yeah. So carbon and so forth. And then the real core of filtration is underneath. Which this is a OASE Biomaster 800,
yeah,
which is the largest one that they make. It is primarily filled with Seachem matrix, pond matrix in the lower levels, regular matrix in the higher levels. So it goes from a very large biomedia to a smaller biomedia. There's virtually no foam in this. There's no carbon, no phosphate control, anything like that.
Just the matrix media in there.
Just the matrix media in there.
Oh wow! And this is the one that actually holds the heater within the canister filter as well, right?
Correct.
So are you running that as well?
Yep, run the integrated heater. So this is running as a closed loop system. I run I drilled this tank for the intake here at the bottom, and that runs into the OASE Biomaster. I go out of there through a 36 watt UV unit.
Wow.
And then across to a secondary return pump, and this is just to boost the flow rate of the system. Because there's so much restriction with so many components in there. Unaided, it will only push about 250 gallons an hour, but with the aid of this DC pump, I'm running between 400 and 450 gallons an hour.
Nice.
Of course, typical gyre for added circulation.
And so it looks like this tank, it's mainly softies?
Mainly softies, yep. The goal behind this tank, when I bought this house and I remodeled it, as I moved in it, I always knew this space. I was like, man, I'd love to have a tank there someday.
Yeah.
So this is a space I started in But what I definitely did not want, I did not want a sump. I did not want an open sump creating odor, salt spray, and everything else in a kitchen area like this.
Yeah.
So I wanted a nice, neat, closed loop system. So I designed and built this cabinet. And
oh wow,
this is this is all custom made stuff.
I would have thought that this came with the kitchen already.
Right, and that's the whole idea. Is
Yeah.
if I ever decide to move this tank out of here, you know, the countertop surface matches the rest of the kitchen. It's a very functional part of the kitchen.
So tell me about the lighting system. It's interesting, the light system that you have here, and especially the cost and how it still works whether they're name brands or not, right? So
right. So these are the new the latest model NICREW reef lights, the 150 watt versions. So there's two of them. They currently sell for around $175 each, and I'm using the NICREW 10 volt 0 to 10 volt timer controller that sells for $45 or $50. So you're looking at, you know, $400 for 300 watts worth of LED lighting. I run them right now. They're running at 60% blues and 30% white.
So they're not even full power.
Not even full power, and I'm producing right at 100 par at the sand.
Wow, that is definitely incredible, and the tank looks so clean. I mean,
over the last couple years, I've worked a lot with a combination of different filtration systems, trying to work out some of the known problems with closed loop systems. And I feel like I really hit on something with a closed loop canister system combined with that hang on the back.
Yeah.
These two together work extremely well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's obvious. These corals are wide open, very colorful. And I love the idea of the Shipwreck here. Talk to us about what made you decide to go with this versus, you know, just pure rock.
You know, that I came across that Shipwreck in a PetSmart.
Yeah.
It was the only one they had. I have no idea if they'll ever produce them again or whatever. And it was expensive.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I really liked that Shipwreck, and I, you know, playing around at the stores, putting it in different tanks. I was like, oh, that fit really good in one of these 90s.
Yeah.
You know? And so I started with that, with that Shipwreck in there, and as I said, about 4 months ago, I rebooted the thing, I built all this rock around it, and I did have to make some pretty significant modifications to that Shipwreck sculpture because in its natural form, all of these areas of rock here are hollowed out. They're very thin. It's a very thin mold, and so it turned out that it created a very large area for capturing detritus and creating issues. So I mixed black sand and epoxy and filled all of these cavities.
Oh wow.
So that this is not hollow. Now that thing's pretty heavy now. It's probably, that thing probably weighs 12, 15 pounds.
How long did that take?
It actually wasn't too bad. I mean, I had to pressure wash it clean.
Yeah.
And I had to pour it in 4 different pours. You know, one for each side and then one for each end.
Yeah.
But you know, a couple of days.
It looks very nice. It definitely, especially with the rocks on there, it looks like you literally walked into a shipwreck here. You know, sunken at the bottom of the ocean, and it makes perfect hiding spaces for all of these fish that I keep seeing go in and out, which I'm assuming was part of the goal there too, right?
Right. And you know, at night, it's very intriguing at night. As soon as the lights start to go down, everybody disappears.
Oh yeah.
You won't see anybody except the two stupid clowns.
So they all have their own little hiding space in it, most likely.
Right. They all have their hiding place inside.
Very cool. Very cool. Anything else you'd like to share about this tank?
The real thing about this tank is the simplicity of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't have a controller system on it. I have a temperature and pH monitor on it, just to have it on there. I don't really have to worry about it. Weekly maintenance on this tank is 20 minutes.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. So what do you do for maintenance, water changes and all that good stuff that I know normally?
I do a 10% water change once a week, and I do, as far as filter maintenance and cleaning, it is literally 20 minutes.
You mentioned you have all that media. Do you ever have to like scrub it down or anything like that from the canister?
I generally pull that media out and scrub that canister about twice a year.
Twice a year. So
Right.
then the maintenance really only includes possibly just changing the media in the Seachem and cleaning the glass, doing your water change, and I mean that's about it.
Right.
Sounds like, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's actually less maintenance to this setup than there is to a similar sump setup, in my opinion.
You ever check your parameters
Yep, every week.
every week? That's part of your maintenance?
Yep.
Got it. Dose anything or it's just you rely just on the water changes?
Rely on the water changes on this tank.
Got it. That. Softies are pretty forgiving, right? So
Yeah, pretty forgiving.
very nice, very cool.
I like the movement of the tank. You know,
I like the fact that, you know, we walked in through the garage, and as soon as we walked in here, the first thing you saw was this, you know, and it's very nice, and I like the color combination. I'm assuming you put 30% white light, right, in it, so it gives it that wider spectrum than just the blue, and it's a good touch for this tank for sure.
thank you.
I really, really like it.
Not bad for a colorblind guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you can't tell then whether it's white or not?
I sort of can, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't see colors the way everybody else does. Nope.
I personally, I like the wider spectrum, right? Like you know, in my tank, as you saw, you know, I've talked to you about it, that I got the G5 blues, and I like the blue spectrum that it gives, but I wish there was more white, and so I like the combination of maybe during the day having that white spectrum, maybe at night having a dark blue where it makes the coral shine and all that.
Right.
But I definitely don't want it blue all the time, and I think this is definitely very nice.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. I start pulling the white percentage down at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
So it starts pulling down, and by 7 p.m. I'm running strictly blues,
Nice.
and then it fades off to.
And I'm assuming that's when all these greenish corals start shining, right?
Right.
What do you feed your fish in here?
I feed pellets, and then on auto feeders. All my tanks have auto feeders. I'm a big believer in auto feeders.
So all you do is just enjoy the view of this tank.
Right. And I mean, I hand feed them nori on a clip, and I hand feed frozen, but only like every couple days.
Got it. So mainly an auto doser on, you know, flakes or pellets.
Right. A requirement for me is I want to always be able to leave my house for a week
And
and
not
not have to worry about my tanks.
Very nice. Well, I'm sure everybody can see right through this tank and know that you have a even larger tank on the other side. So we'll head over there. Let me set up over there and
Okay.
continue that discussion there.